Hi everybody, it's Mary Satoli from the Follow Your Bliss Foundation. I guess you didn't expect to see so much of me this week, but it's been a busy news week, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about all this information that's in the media right now on ABC News with Vicki Cornell and the story that's getting covered about the Ativan that Chris Cornell was taking when he committed suicide last May. And this particular thing hit me pretty hard because I was put on Ativan, as many of you know. And I think that the media, I got a link from the Benzo Coalition support group this week that showed the entire interview. And Vicki Cornell has teamed up with a addiction council forum or something. I'm not sure that I have the right name, but I wrote to them because I think they're painting his death as strictly linked to his prior addiction and not, they're missing the point that it's the drug, it's not the substance abuse, because none of us, at least most of us, are not addicts. I didn't take aspirin before I took this drug. I cycled, I swam, I was athletic, I was healthy, and I took one pill and ended up in a downward spiral in my life that I could never have possibly imagined. And I think most of the people I work with and talk to, I know you are all highly trained professionals that have had to go on disability, give up your life, give up your career, give up your friendships and family because of the drug, not because of the addiction. We're not addicted, we're dependent. Our brains were messed up by this drug. And so every time there's a suicide with a celebrity who has an addiction issue like Chris Cornell, and I don't mean to shortchange his death on any level because there are a lot of addicts, prior addicts like Chris Cornell, who should not have been put on Ativan like they explained in the interview, and I totally agree with that. They should have information about this patient's prior addiction history so it doesn't happen, because they're even 10 times more fragile than even us sensitive ones who are ending up on this stuff. And so I wrote to this forum, I've been tweeting Vicki, I've been sending out information, writing blogs again on this whole thing, and I wanted to put this video out because I think it's really important that all of us keep telling our stories, because we're going to be the reason this healthcare system changes and this drugging stops, because there has to be some accountability in all of it. There has to be some guidelines that's imposed on these drug companies by people in the medical profession and not the other way around. It can't be big pharma telling them what to do, because so far, as I've shared with you guys about my Lidoderm appeal with disability, they're now saying that the only way I can manage my pain and get it covered under disability is if I take Cymbalta or Lyrica. And you all know about these drugs. There's people on Facebook in groups because they cannot get off that drug. And I am not going to take any more nerve damaging drugs. The Lidoderm patches work great for me, and I'd rather pay out of pocket and scrape the money together somehow to buy those, because they're non-addictive and they're not going to wreck my brain any further than it's already been wrecked. So I kind of been, just so you have a little update, I'm really trying to give everybody some hope with this. I am busy contacting Dr. Amon's office, so if any of you have any contacts that can help me with this, I want to see if they can put together a SPECT scan study of all of the brains that have been damaged by benzos. So Ellie and Melissa and Brandon and all the people that I'm helping out there, Barb, I know you're suffering. I know there's a ton of you that are in protracted withdrawal. I think this doctor is the one person that can help us, because his SPECT scan studies have proven to show brain trauma from TBIs, all kinds of different injuries, and he is totally against benzodiazepines. He saw what they do on the SPECT scans, so I suspect he could find great research in studying a bunch of us. So I wanted to share this because I think you know that I'm all very determined about changing this on some level and finding answers for all of us who've been damaged, because I'm trying to get on with my own life, as you know, and get back to my children's app and my music and all the things, and the nonprofit work, because that's all part of what I do. It's all interconnected, and I want so badly, because I know my last video was pretty sobby, but it was pretty emotional. But I care. It's a horrible experience for anyone to go through, and it's so lonely, and you have to isolate out of no choice to your own so your nervous system can heal, and it's not what you want, because then you're alone, and that sucks too. It's like there's just no win situation with this. And getting the opioid piece, I heard from a friend of mine, I haven't checked this out yet, but I guess Time magazine did the whole magazine from cover to back on the opioid crisis, and I'm just like, what? She seems to think that most people can't track on more than one subject, and that's why if they throw the benzos in, it'll confuse people. Well, you know, this is worse. I'm talking to so many people that say they've done both, and the opioid withdrawal was a walk in the park compared to this, and I believe it is. I've been through it, and I'm still going through it, and there needs to be more education that these doctors don't prescribe cross-tolerant substances like what happened to me, because you guys think coming off just the benzos is bad. You should try 3 of these back to back over the course of, it's taken me 5 years and I'm still not off the phenibut. In fact, I've got to slow down again because my muscles all inflamed again. And yeah, I'm better. I'm a lot better, but this is taking way longer than it should for a legal prescription medication to not have some kind of warning associated with it for even the 30% of us, because it's still millions of people. And a lot of them don't know. A lot of them haven't figured it out yet because they're in denial, like I was, and like you and I were when we were still on the drug, or before we tried to even come off of it. We were thinking, how could this even happen? A good example of this was, I have a friend who has tapered off some things on his own. He's trying to get off blood pressure medication, because I believe on some level when you take a pill, it compromises something in your body's ability to function right. And so I'm not against all things, because we need antibiotics and we need certain vaccinations. We need some things that I think are very productive, but it's just, as we all know, overkill. Ask your doctor. We've been bombarded, and we've been on top of it, socialized and advertised to think it's okay. So nobody's making the connection because we're all just dumbed down to it. So he was trying to get off some medications, and I know his wife is on, I don't know what exactly, but several things. And she's in the same place. She's going, how could they sell us something that is not safe? She's not putting it together. And so, you know, she's, I think, on an antidepressant and a couple of other things, not sure. But he was telling me about this, and, you know, trying to tell her what happened to me. And it's just not sinking in, because I think these drugs do a certain amount of and suppressing your mental ability to discern. And until you come off of it and you can actually see what's going on, and we're all invested in finding answers because we're the ones being impacted. So all these other people who haven't taken the drug or haven't been affected, they're going on with their lives, and they're busy, and they don't have time for us. They don't have a clue what's going on with this. And this is what I am trying to make clear to the people who have a voice. Vicki Cornell, I'm tweeting her every day. And in case she watches this, I want her to know she can make a difference with her husband's death, making it clear that it wasn't just his prior addiction issue. It's the Ativan. I took it. I was suicidal as hell. I called 3 or 4 of my friends, my sister, And I reached out to all of them because I was so desperate. I didn't know how to get across to them how sick I was. And so I asked them to help me get enough stuff to kill myself with several occasions. And they knew I was serious. They knew, and they're like, well, I'm not going to do that. And I'm glad they didn't now, because I'm through that part of it. I don't have any more suicidal thoughts. But I know those of you who are having them, and it sucks. I mean, I said this a zillion times. This sucks what they're doing. This sucks. And there has to be reasonable solutions. So another thing I'm doing is I've got several advertisers who have supplement products, that sort of thing, that I'm selling some advertising on our website, and working to develop some of my recipes that I'm sharing with some of you for sensitive nervous systems, and seeing what I can do to market that to support the cause. Because if I'm making enough money, I'll help all you guys for free that can't afford it. But because I don't care about the money. This is not about the money. It's the principle of everything that's happened to all of us. And I think in some ways I try to find purpose in all this, because I've told many of you that there's a reason this is all happening to us. And I've said this many times, but I think that I've gotten really strong after this, really strong. And I didn't realize how strong I was. And when I've gone through this cross-tolerant thing, I think one of the reasons it happened to me is because I am very strong, and I got through it, and I'm getting through it. And I've got several people that are supporting me now, and we're starting to get sponsors for the nonprofit. And I'm seeing things starting to roll in my life where I couldn't do even 6 months ago. So there's hope, because I probably was more damaged than a lot of you. I didn't have support. I didn't have family. I was cooking my own meals, crawling to the store myself. And not that I'm saying my situation by any means is worse than any of yours, because we all suffer, we all pay, including the taxpayers who are picking up the tab for all of our ER visits, as you know, and our disability and our health care that we are running all over. And they've created a new disease model because of some of these drugs that's creating a whole set of untreatable health issues that needs to change. So there's my soapbox for the night. I'm not going to rattle on, because I know I tend to do that. And I just wanted to put in my little blurb about the Chris Cornell news coverage recently, because it's kind of, I think, opening up some old wounds for all of us who went through it last May when he died, and then are going through it again, watching the fact that addiction and not dependency, but addiction is being covered and linked to the problems with the drug, and the fact that they're being put on this, and not the fact that we're not addicts. The ones that are suffering the worst are not the addicts. And that it's being not described right. It's not, the story's not being told right, and I want to tell it the right way. And so that's what I'm attempting to do with these videos. I did a blog on it, and I'm just trying to spread this. So I'm going to keep trying. You can count on that. I'm not giving up. And I want you all to stay the course and tell your story when you heal, because it's going to be huge. This is going to be huge. I think way bigger than what any of us think or know. And based on the research I've done, I think I know. So anyway, hang in there, everybody, and take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.